All right. Hello, Michelle. Welcome to the Real Estate by Relationship podcast. I am so happy and grateful that you agreed to be here with me today.
Are you kidding? I would do anything for you, Barb. I put
Oh, you're
makeup
so
on.
sweet.
I did
You're
my hair
so
today.
sweet. Because I put you on video. So fun fact, those of you listening to the podcast, we also feature these on YouTube. You can catch those over there on my channel because sometimes it's fun to actually see the person behind the voice, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
So let's get right into it. So you, my dear, let's tell everyone how we met because I'm all about relationships, and I talked about this with Chelsea. I talked about this with Shannon Milligan. I talked about it with Jason Frazier. We met via social media, Snapchat, like
Yeah.
way old school social media. Not
Yeah.
old, but we don't really use it anymore.
No. Although their filters are still way better than Instagram's.
Right? Okay, that's a whole nother conversation in itself. But so that's just proof that you can meet and nurture and deepen a relationship using these social platforms by having conversations with people, correct?
Yeah, totally. And they're fun conversations and you get to really see who people really are
Yeah.
on some of these platforms. This makes it fun.
Yeah, the authentic side of the person, which is what I like
Yeah.
to say, if it's done correctly. But we're definitely going to talk about Instagram. But let's start out with you just tell us a little bit, agents that don't know you, tell us a little bit about your business model kind of in general. Give us the 3,000-foot view of
Yeah.
your business.
So I'm based in South Florida in Boca Raton, which is in between West Palm Beach and Fort Lauderdale. Miami's about an hour south of us. So we get to take advantage of fabulous Miami and the Florida Keys, with being pretty close. Um, I started in real estate in 2003. My background is consumer health products through Warner Lambert, which is now Pfizer, and pharmaceuticals.
Wow.
And I always had a love for interior design. I was going to major in it and then I sucked at it. So I switched it to journalism. And, but I still loved like architecture and design and whatnot. So I got my license and like 2003 and, never really looked back. And the first part of my career, I was all heavy duty with buyers. And then the housing market crashed
Mm,
and a lot of things crashed, personally and professionally. It was just that time. And I decided in 2011, I was cleaning houses to make ends meet, along with working with buyers, that I needed to do my real estate business a little bit differently. I am a solo
mm.
agent and decided to focus on listing niches. And that was a real pivotal turning point for me staying in real estate, but also with pharmaceutical head going, building a pipeline of some consistency. And then also knowing what works for me versus someone else. What I make in real estate is maybe different than what someone else is, but it works for me. And the time that I spend on real estate works for me. And I think as I've gotten older, because I'm almost 60, um, I believe in that even more. And I liked having my nights and weekends. So listings and working with buyer by referral and relationship was how I've managed my business over the last several years.
I
So
love it. Okay, so you talked about listing niches and you dominate the so Boca hashtag SEO term, everything. So how did you determine what kind of listing niche you were going to create and give a deeper dive on that? What does that look like?
sure. So I'm a firm believer that, if you're going to do a niche, whether it's a buy niche or a listing niche, that it needs to be something that you can eat, sleep, drink, talk about. You're very passionate about it.
Mhm.
Some people are very passionate about golf or fishing. My husband is a captain, he's fishing like guru. Um, for me, I'd gone through probate with my parents when they passed away at 58 and 61. I was on the buyer side of probate too. And the listing agents weren't as well versed in what to do with a property if it's in an estate, if there's heirs, probate. And so in 2011, 2012, that's when I started looking at doing probate because I had a pretty good handle on that. And I think my pharmaceutical background, juggling multiple things at one time and then dealing with going through the loss of both my parents and some of the things there, I
Mhm.
was okay having those hard conversations with people who've gone through a loss. It's just
Mhm.
not for everyone, but it worked well for me. And then it transitioned in a second listing niche, which was seniors, because my sellers tended to be skewing older.
Mhm.
And so I also found that working with estate attorneys, I was also working with elder law attorneys
Yep.
sometimes. And so it actually kind of cross-pollinated very nicely. And honestly, I enjoy working with families and helping them turn the corner
Mhm.
when they're going through a very difficult, extraordinarily difficult
Mhm.
time versus just a regular purchase or sale.
Mhm.
And it just satisfies me as a realtor. It's not for everyone, but it's for me, and it works.
So the listing niche, obviously, I love that you're doing what you're passionate about. You're doing what you feel connected to, right? You're focusing on
Yes.
that because they talk about how when you say anyone, right? That's just well, okay, who, what, when, where. What does your ideal client look like? What does your ideal transaction look like? What is your specialty? You've really narrowed it down to what
Yeah.
you're passionate about, which I love. So how did Soboka come about? Is that just because of
Oh,
your knowledge of the Boca
yeah.
Raton area?
So, it's so funny. I moved here when I was 16.
Oh my gosh.
I'm Canadian, moved here from Canada. My dad moved us here. He started the first water slide in South Florida. And I was ticked off, look, I'm in between 10th and 11th grade. Come on. But we moved here. And, the only time I really left was when I went to college, University of Florida,
Mhm.
came back. My husband went to Boca High. I went to Boca High. My kids went to Boca High. We're Boca High kid, family. And as I started being out and about, especially with social media in 2016, 2017, I was jumping on and going live on Facebook at nonprofit events and
Mm,
showcasing the Alzheimer's Association or a Tri County. Today's National Adopt a Dog Day. Tri County is
yeah.
we've adopted a couple dogs from there. Where whatever's going on around town, I just flip. How you do it, Barb. You just flip
Yeah.
open your
Yeah.
camera, like, hey
Yep.
guys, I'm like blah blah
Yep.
blah blah. Well, nobody's was doing it. And, some people are doing it now, but not even then, they really weren't doing it. And I think, in all honesty, I was driving and somebody cut me off one day, and I called Kylie, my oldest daughter, and I said, cut me off. That's so Boca.
Mm.
And I went, oh my
Oh,
God, I think I'm on to something. And that's how Soboka started in like about 2017.
yeah.
And I really did kind of run with it. I did B school, Marie Forleo's B
Yep.
school, that's Sue
Yep.
B. Zimmerman.
Yep.
And Sue had, was like, that's a, no, Sue, that's a great tagline. That's great. You need to really,
Yeah.
so, and I did, I started really running with it, but I ran with it on Instagram. And then I had a really crappy website. And then I was like, I really need to like rebrand this. This is like
Yeah.
ridiculous. And so I started really running with it and very slowly introducing some real estate to it because I kept them really separate for
Mm,
a long
interesting.
time.
Why'd you do that?
Um, I felt like I think women will get this. Sometimes you have certain groups of friends and you don't want your worlds to collide,
Yeah.
right? I kind of felt that way. It's like real estate can get really gritty and difficult and challenging. And then I was like, it was almost like a reprieve for me to be able to just play and
Gotcha.
just kind of
That's it. That's
enjoy
a real interesting point.
the creative side. And then Paige Schulte, who I adore in Gig Harbor, says, I called her one day. I said, what do you think about me adding a little more real estate to my Instagram? She goes, oh, yeah, I think you should do it. I said, I think I should too. I don't
Well,
think
it
anybody
connects together because So Boca is all about the community, and
Yeah.
real estate is obviously an integral part of the community because it's where people live. So I
Well,
can
and I just
definitely
didn't
see
want
where the two combine.
I didn't want people to think I was being salesy with it.
Yeah.
All
I
of a
hear
sudden, like barfing all over Soboka, realtor, realtor, realtor. But I did adjust. And, I have a YouTube channel and, I've had referrals from both my YouTube channel and my blog, and they really do go hand in hand. And then I get them from Instagram. So I don't get them from one place exclusively. But
Yeah.
what I love is when people think of Florida, I've had so many realtors tell me this now. We're so referral based here. When I think of Florida, I think of you because of Soboka. And
Mhm.
so I'm really starting to leverage it
Yeah,
more now.
absolutely.
So that's the
But
story.
you've
And I've had
you've
so
done
much
it
fun with it.
you've done it through creating the niche because you have truly I've watched you. You are the digital mayor of Soboka.
Thank you.
So those of you that are listening to this and want to check out Michelle, you got to go to her Instagram. You got to go to her YouTube. We'll link all of her links in the show notes. But you got to go watch her and see how brilliant she's done it. I was checking out your YouTube page the other day, and I was noticing how you have like the different playlists and categories, and you've got the Soboka about the community, about events, all the things that
Yeah.
you're doing, and then you've got the Soboka buyer and seller tips.
Yeah.
And it's
I
almost
kept
like
it
a
like real
separate,
low key.
yeah, it's almost like a separate part of your channel, which I think is kind of brilliant.
Yeah, and one of the things I am not the best at consistency with YouTube. And so one of the things that two things. One, starting to really blog more and more consistently. And for
Mhm,
those of you that are not writers,
mhm.
you can certainly hire someone. I have someone that does some ghostwriting for me. I send her topics. She'll write out like almost like a script. And then I go back in and edit it and put in keyword research and stuff. So you don't have to necessarily be a brilliant writer
Great
because
advice.
trust me, I'm not. But in order to continue ranking and to be found, you need to be consistent with those blogs, just like on YouTube. And so one of the things I'm doing with YouTube now is I'm sending all these clips that I always seem to have in my phone over to an editor and like once a week. And I'm just banking them right now so that I've got like so much to go out there that it'll be more consistent because
Yeah.
I'm a true Aries girl and a little on the ADD
Yeah.
side. So, like, oh, wow, that's nice. Oh, sorry, I need to
Yeah.
get back to that.
Squirrel.
Happens.
Yeah, it does. So, when you're, because I've also heard a great way to do what you're doing is also film a video and then let a ghostwriter transcribe what you're really saying. Because
Yes, I'm starting to do
males
that too.
are better talkers than we are writers, right? We're
Oh,
typically
yeah.
a different kind of
Such
mindset.
a good idea.
Yeah. Okay. So Boca was kind of birthed through blogging. And then
Well, Instagram first, and then it went to the blog.
really it started on Instagram first.
Yes, it totally started on Instagram. And then I was like, maybe I should do a blog.
Gotcha. Okay. So
Yeah.
it was the opposite, but let's talk about Instagram. Let's talk about the growth you've had on Instagram. How have you done it? What are the key tips you want to tell other realtors who kind of want to become that digital mayor of their community and also promote their real estate business, through sharing that they're an expert on their area?
Well, I'm going to tell you what not to do
That's
because
great.
when I started really doing Instagram, I didn't know what I was doing. And I ended up having a lot of like followers that they, they followed, they're not hyper local or they're not interested in Boca. That does hurt your engagement. It's really not so much about the follower count. You could have 100 really engaged followers and you'll be fine. I wanted to hit the 10,000 number on my others. I have at the Michele B, which is very real estate, like talking real estate, talking niches, talking, tips and things like that. But that was important because I just was so close to it and I wanted the swipe up, but you don't need that to
No.
get a swipe up. You can do a swipe up through IGTV. So that makes it pretty easy. I would say just be thoughtful about who you're following and who you want following you. And I think Jesse Peters does this really, really well. He's in Winnipeg. It's like, don't follow me. If you're not like, because he's so much the digital mayor there. And I learned a lot from him and Michael Thorne and to understand that not everybody's your client. And when you're looking to follow people, who do you want following you back?
Mhm.
Who's your ideal client? Who's your avatar? Using those hyper local hashtags
Love it.
and hobbies that you have. Like if you go on my Instagram, so Boca one in particular, you see I like to thrift, and I'm starting to put more on there about how I thrift and how I do estate sales. I love these earrings actually.
Love it.
This is a plan. These are from a consignment store. They cost nothing, but people really like to see that.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of hobbyless. Like I like everything, but I really love to thrift and I'm really good at it. And so, um, I think if you want to add your hobby, that's a great connector and building up relationships. There's a realtor here locally, and we were talking one day, and he was a graduate of the Culinary Institute. I'm like, why are you not in your
Yeah.
kitchen
Why are you not
doing
showing that?
like short cooking videos
Yeah.
and talking about kitchens and real estate? He's like,
Right.
never thought about it. I'm like, dude, I would kill for that.
Well,
Kill for that.
we always talk about how people are not going to connect with you on the real estate. That's not what they're going to connect with you.
Oh
They're going
no.
to connect with you on the personal. They're going to connect with you on the community. They're going
Yeah,
to connect with you on the cooking, the thrifting. For me, it's baseball and wine and country music for my
exactly.
dogs, right? Or my daughter who hates being on my Instagram stories, which she's famous now because of that.
I
Um,
know.
And people
That's what I
love
did,
to,
girls, because my girls are the same
right?
way.
People love to respond to that stuff. And but if you're masterful in communicating also that you're a great realtor and you're out servicing your clients and doing the things that you do on a daily basis that we all think are dumb and mundane and boring, but
Yeah.
really will show and communicate that I can trust you, you're good at what you do, you're a busy realtor, I should hire you, versus just communicating I thrift, right? The I thrift is what people connect with. The real estate's what they hear. And then that reticular activator goes off when someone asks for a realtor in Boca Raton, because you're so Boca is, I mean, I can't think of anyone else there because you're so indelled in my mind. And it really has been an interesting thing to watch that you're very, very, very gifted at.
Oh, thank you. I just it's and here's the thing, and I say this all the time, and you and I've had conversations because we both have adult children. You know, I'm 59. I just turned 59. I don't think about my age realistically, other than, I'm 59.
You do not look
Uh,
59.
thanks.
You guys
My
go all turn
mom.
on the video. If you're listening to the podcast, you gotta eventually watch the video because you
Thank
don't
my
look
mom.
59.
Um, but at the end of the day, we can all start things at any age. And there are many women in particular that I like Oprah, she really gained her stride at 50.
Yeah,
You look at like Maria Shriver,
yeah,
like, these are women that I really love listening to. And I've been watching for years,
yeah,
but noticed that they hit that at 50, and man, they took out Martha Stewart. I
right?
mean, and I may be throwing out some old school names here. And trust me, I am wired
But
into the
it's true.
old school names.
Age doesn't
Doesn't
matter, and
matter. Doesn't
people
define me.
automatically think social media is just for the younger generations, and oh
Yeah,
my God, it's not. So what would your advice be to realtors who want to start a digital brand? They want to find a niche.
yeah,
Let's just call it an area. Um,
yeah.
how did you start owning that? Obviously, using the branded hashtag SoBoca. What else did you do? Like give them some first,
Yeah.
second, third steps.
So honestly, it was so tongue in cheek. That's how it came about. So Boca, very tongue in cheek. Most communities or cities have something that's really kind of fun that you say all the time. You can play off of that. You can play off of almost anything in regard to your community as long as it's authentic to
Yep.
you, right? Now, one of the things I did do, and this is not what somebody else would do, is I actually trademarked hashtag So Boca,
Mhm.
um, because I felt like I was going to be using it in a lot of things, and I thought
Yep.
if ever started to take off, I wanted to protect
Yep.
that. So, not expensive to do. I wouldn't suggest everybody doing it, but in this case, I thought it made really good
Yep.
sense. Um,
Absolutely.
but I do think, like, wherever you are, there's some sort of like localism that
Yeah.
you can have so much fun with. And I think the thing is, and Barb, I know that as we've talked about, there's so much stress, and our business is very complicated.
Yep.
But when you can have a little fun with it
Yes.
and take what you know about where you live and put a spin on it,
Yeah.
it makes some of the tougher situations, like when you lose 3 buyers in a row or you
Yeah.
have deals fall through,
Yeah. It
if
makes it
you're
a little
dealing with a
easier.
difficult client, then you have something else to focus
Yep.
on besides,
Yeah.
just that. So I think you can have a lot of fun with it, and then you just use it everywhere. You put it
That's
on
the
your
key.
signature.
Yeah.
You put it everywhere. Like I have shirts made, I've got hats. My sign back there,
Yeah.
where it is. I have it on there now. Like I'm running with it. I'm just like, I'm just throwing it.
Well, you have to own it. I mean, to use it, you have to own it. To make it a niche, you have to own it, right? And that's why
Yeah,
when I teach, real estate or not real estate, social media to realtors, and
yeah.
I say you can't like hashtag Long Beach real estate isn't going to do it. That's
No,
not going to do it to create a brand. That's
no.
not unique. That's not nichey. It's one of the biggest cities in the state of California, arguably one of the larger cities in the nation. And
Right,
it's not going to get any kind of traction. So
right.
finding something that's really nichey that you can own and then using it over and over again. So to your point, hashtag real estate by relationship has become my thing, become my jam. I teach on it, train
Fabulous.
on it. I did just get it trade. Well, it is in the final stages. The
So
opposition
smart.
ended because for your exact reason, the name of this podcast is Real Estate by Relationship. And when I talked to my trademark attorney, And you're giving me a great idea because maybe I should bring her on for an interview.
Oh, I would.
When I talked to her, she was like, listen, it's a 50-50 chance that the trademark office will approve it. But what it will do is give you an insurance policy. Because here's what I learned, and I'll tell the realtors this. If the trademark office says no to you, they're going to say no to everyone else, which means no one else can ever tell you to stop using it. My intention wasn't that I'm going to go tattle on everyone who uses real estate.
Right.
But I didn't want, to your point, anyone to tell me that I had to change the name of my podcast or that I couldn't use that hashtag anymore. And so that's
Well,
really what you did. You protected your own brand.
I
So
did.
someone couldn't tell you you can't use it anymore.
Well, and the other thing is, I think it was maybe 2.5 years ago, maybe when everyone was doing flash briefings,
Mm-hmm.
and someone that I think we mutually know does some coaching, but not in the real estate world, had a real problem and had to switch because there was a trademark name, which all of us use, by the way,
Yeah.
all of us, right?
Yeah.
And somehow it just, that happened to her, which was terrible.
Yeah.
And should change everything. Now, the other thing is that it also protects me because I've been using it a long time. So if somebody were to go on to Google on hashtag SoBoca, Google it, there's a longevity because every time you use that hashtag, it curates
Yes.
whatever was there. So that's number one. But I also use hashtag SoDelray, hashtag SoPalm Beach, hashtag SoFlorida. I have a history and a longevity of using this
Yep.
as mine.
I love it. I love it. I love it because we tend to think that we're realtors and we can service all areas and service all things. And you've really proven that when you niche down, the riches are in the niches, right? That's a very well-known saying. And you're proving that by focusing on Soboka and focusing on all the mediums with Soboka, right? You didn't just leave it with Instagram. You've got it
Yeah.
all over YouTube. You own it through blogs. You own it through printed material. You own it
Yes.
through apparel that you wear. You really have made it your brand.
Start to kind of believe too, now that you're saying all that, and I think this is where realtors, we have to remember, like, you have to plant seeds, and sometimes it does seem like it's going to take a long time for something to happen or hit. But then
Right.
when you look back and you go, oh wow, like what you just said, I started with Instagram and then I rolled into this, and then,
Yeah.
oh, and by the way, did I have things that didn't work out? Yeah.
Of course.
Um,
Of course.
but it just takes some time, and something I don't have a lot of, but it's a learned thing, is patience.
Right. Patience takes it takes that is a skill we all could all get better
It
in.
is a skill I've had to learn and master.
Okay, so let's jump back over to Instagram again. So we talked
Okay.
about how to start, how to niche down, how to find something. Number one pushback I get from realtors is, I don't like the way I sound. I don't like the way they look. I don't know what to talk about. No one cares about my dog, my food, my lunch. Can you please share with them how much people care about those things and how they actually don't care about the real estate?
Oh, they don't give a crap about the real estate.
Right?
I'll be the first one that says it is such a snooze fest when I scroll and I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
just talk, be human.
Yep.
Like, just talk about this. Like, so today, because I had one thing to do, guess what? And this was my out of the box comfort zone on Soboka. I went, I'm just going to do my makeup routine on Soboka today.
Yeah.
I've never really done this. And I literally sat there because we've all been like, wow, I didn't plan that too well. I have nothing else to do today, but I still
Right?
get ready, right? I'm like,
You
oh
had
crap,
to
I
get
guess
ready
I'm
for
focused.
me. Yes.
So I'm blaming Barb Betts on that one. I'm like, thank you so much, because that was actually
all
fun.
day long.
It was so much fun. And I'm starting to get a ton of DMs from people saying, what'd you use under your eyes?
Right?
Oh, how did you do that? Oh, that's a great tip. I'm sure I'm going to get, like more.
Yes.
That's the way to go, man.
That's the money answer, because here's the deal. And I will say this till I'm blue in the face. And those of you listening to this amazing Real Estate by Relationship podcast, you're probably tired of me saying this, but if you haven't heard me say it once, you're going to hear it now. What she's saying about people asking her questions about the highlighter and the makeup and what are you putting under your eyes and what brand is that, is starting conversations. Okay. You cannot have relationships without conversations. That's number one. Number two is tomorrow or this afternoon, when Michele drops, I'm going to show a house, or I'm going to an appraisal, or I just closed an escrow. People are going to hear it because she's going to show up in their algorithm, because Instagram knows they have a relationship and a friendship. And now Instagram is going to show more of Michele to them because they asked about makeup.
Right.
And that is where showing the behind the scenes of your life and being authentic and giving people a reason to connect with you is 1000% how I've built my Instagram sales, if you will, career. 100%.
Exactly. And the thing of it is, and you watch my stories, I watch yours. How many times am I in a baseball hat,
Yep,
no
absolutely.
makeup? I mean, honestly, the glam squad doesn't show up unless I show up. So,
Unless you're gonna do on podcasts. That part forces you to do on video.
I know, but I love it though
It's
because
just so much better talking face to face than it is.
oh my gosh, it's
So,
so much better.
yeah.
I prefer it myself too, you know.
So what's next in your marketing journey? Like, is there something on the horizon that's coming that none of us can see that's going to really take off? What are you seeing as the new trends in marketing with regards to like niching down?
I think I think it's a little status quo right now, although audio is obviously with Clubhouse.
Mhm.
There's an opportunity for agents who really don't like how they look
Yep.
on camera,
Yep.
get on Clubhouse.
Yeah.
You can also podcast, but Clubhouse is immediate. And I've made some relationships, and my my latest listing came from a referral from Clubhouse.
Nice.
Yeah. And
Was
again,
it another realtor or was it a consumer?
it's a realtor.
Another realtor. Yeah.
A realtor to realtor referral.
Yep.
And I think that's a, if you're in an area like where Barb is or where I am, or you're in an area that really does have people that are looking to move there,
Yeah.
second homes, vacation,
Yeah.
you know, build those relationships with the real estate agents in states in particular that tend to feed
Yep.
your area. So for me, it's the
Absolutely.
Northeast, Jersey, Pennsylvania, New York, Ohio,
Absolutely.
you know,
Yep.
Boston.
Yep.
Um, but I would say right now the trend is probably in audio because I think Facebook's probably going to do their thing and
Yeah.
come up with their own version of Clubhouse.
Yep.
Um, it's not a bad thing to get involved with right now and just understand the dynamics of
Yes.
it,
I agree.
right?
I
That's
agree.
number one.
Mhm.
I'd say as an ongoing trend, don't be afraid to try anything.
Mhm.
Just know, and this is something I watched the other day, which I thought was brilliant. Lewis House had an interview. I think the guy's name was Cad Newton, and he talked about getting off of social media.
Mm.
It was about an hour long, and I listened to it, and it was actually extraordinary because what he was saying was focus on where your ROI is. Don't worry about the rest of the platforms if they're not giving you any ROI because people are telling you you need to be on them. I'm saying check them out,
Yeah.
see if it's in
Absolutely.
your groove. If it's not, fall back on what's working for you or figure out what's going to work for you. Maybe
Great
Facebook is
advice.
your jam, right? But
Yeah.
I loved what he said, which is when the iPhone first came out, it was really meant to make phone calls, to listen to music, and maybe read a book.
Yep.
It wasn't news and apps. And what happened is we're always looking down, and now I'm like hashtag look up.
Yeah.
And
Love
so
that.
yesterday, after I listened to it, I did post something about it because I was like, so I love being on social media, but you know what? I get burned out too,
Yeah. We all
and I
do.
get tired of it.
Mhm.
And I will take a break from it. And it's not because I don't want to see my friends. I'm just tired. And I think that's a dirty little secret right now in our industry where agents are feeling like, I got to be on everything. I got to be on the, it's
No.
fine. You know what? I had COVID last summer, and for 2.5 weeks, I was missing in action. And our dear friend Liz Novello reached
Yeah.
out to me and
Yeah.
said, what's going on with you? Where
Yeah.
have you been? I said, I've been really sick and
Yeah.
I didn't have enough energy to be on social media. And that's when I realized it didn't really matter.
No.
The relationships I had are the relationships. Post because you have something relevant to say, like Chelsea says, you know,
Yep.
you don't want to post to post. And like what you're teaching your students is building those relationships. And if you go on social media 3 times a week, that's fine. But
Yeah.
one of the things he was also saying is do it from your computer instead of always on your phone. And
Oh,
I thought,
absolutely.
that's
Yeah.
awesome. I love that. Love
Absolutely. I think that whatever you do, it has to be consistent and you have to be passionate about it and it has to be bringing you some kind of return, right? So that's why I say if you're going to be on Instagram, focus on stories because that's where you're going to get your return. Stories and reels right now. The posts, I mean, they're great and you need to do a few of them and you need to be present, but they're not going to bring you a return. Someone isn't going to reach out to you because you put a post up on Instagram. They are going to start a conversation with you if you use stories and reels and other new kind of things like that.
Yeah, exactly. Because the grid is like your resume. Okay,
Exactly.
here you are. It's a quick, like, oh, wow. Okay, yeah, I kind of like what she's doing
Yeah.
there. I'll be the first one to say, I like my grid to look a certain way because it makes me happy. Some people do it differently. It's fine.
Yeah.
That's the first thing they're going to see, that in your bio. So
Exactly.
put stuff on there that's going to make somebody want to come back and watch your damn stories and
Exactly.
reels.
100%. But to your point, you don't have to be on everything. You have to
Yeah.
be on something and you have to do it consistently. And for some people, that's as simple as they're great email marketers, they're great door
Oh
knockers, they're
yeah.
great phone callers, they follow up on, internet leads till the cows come home. That's not me. That's not
Yeah.
how I'm designed. I'm designed to have conversations and be social. So Instagram and Facebook work for me.
Yeah.
It's finding what works for you and being consistent. But sitting back and not doing any kind of video and not putting any content out there, I don't think bodes well for anyone in real estate in
No.
2021 in the
I
future.
think if you want to, it's a it's branding, right? But having a good balance. And I started looking back at when I was doing less social media versus what I'm doing now. And it's a balance. It's a balance of, again, what do you want to bring home?
Yep.
What is comfortable for you.
Yep.
There's a lot of braggadocious stuff going on out there. Just
Right.
please ignore it.
Yeah.
If you're comfortable doing XYZ, that's your life. Who
Yeah.
cares what other
You
people are
got to
doing?
focus on authenticity. You got to
Yeah.
focus on being authentic. And because that's who people are hiring. They're hiring you.
Exactly.
You got to be authentic.
You be you,
Okay.
babe.
You have dropped a ton of amazing tips to these listeners and realtors and people in the real estate industry. So give me your top tip for YouTube, top tip for Instagram, top tip for blogging. YouTube
Uh,
first.
oh, well, top tip for YouTube is um, be consistent with your YouTube. In other words, that's the one place I'll say you got to batch.
Okay.
You got to batch. You got to batch because you
Same
want to
day,
drop.
same time each week, or just once a week, or just
I
something
think
consistent
people
schedule.
look at the same day each week and probably the same time. That would be my thought. And that's where I have not done well. I'm
Okay.
like, well, here you go. Oh, here you go.
Right.
And now they have shorts.
I
So
know, right? Now they have live, they have everything. So
I know.
top tip for Instagram.
Top tip for Instagram, I would say, again, be consistent. Know when your audience is on. So check your analytics, know when they're on. If they're not on Sundays and Saturdays, and maybe you don't really need to do much on
Right.
Sundays and Saturdays.
Yeah.
If you do a live, just like this was a test thing that I saw on TikTok, uh, act like as if you're going live. And then you'll see how many of your followers are actually on at that time.
Gotcha.
And if it's high, then that might be a good time for you to jump on and do a live and also post.
Love
And
it.
then for blogging, again, I would say be consistent, understand how to keyword, and what's trending, Google Trends. Check out what's trending in your
Yeah.
community. Throw some
Great.
real estate stuff in there too.
That's great. Oh my gosh. Such great tips, such great information. So rapid fire, what book are you reading right now?
Oh, I have to look at my phone because I'm doing Audible. So hold on, I'll tell
Or
you what I
listening.
got.
Yeah, I guess I got to phrase it as reading or listening.
No, no, it's okay. Actually, so I am reading the Kathy Lee book my mother-in-law
Okay.
got me, which
Yep.
is fantastic. And I had Kylie around the same time she had Cody.
Yeah.
So I used to watch her and read just Kathy, so dating myself.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's okay. You already told us your age.
I know. So let's see. On my library, I've got 3 things. Building a Story Brand, that's
Yes, I
number
love that
1.
book.
Exactly What to Say by Chris Smith,
Ooh.
and Influence by Robert Cialdini. I don't have my glasses
Ooh.
on.
I don't know about those two. I'm going to write those
And I
down.
will also tell you that Salt Lake Serhant was actually really good.
Yes.
And then of
Okay.
course I have Rob Lowe on there.
When the
He's got some good
pandemic
books.
is over, although it's, getting, well, you live in Florida, so it's, but when the world's just completely open, where are you going next for fun?
For fun, that's a really good question. You
Where
may
do
or
you
may
want to
not
go?
know that my daughter's a flight attendant.
I think I did know that, but where do you want
Yeah, so I don't know where I'm going to go next for fun, but I can tell you that she's getting married in June of
fun?
2022, and I can just say that
It'll be
she's
somewhere
probably not
fancy.
getting married here.
Nice, nice. I love it. Okay, and last question, where can everyone find you? I'm going to, of course, link all your profiles, but where's the best place to talk to you at?
I would say on Instagram at Soboka or at the Michele B. Those are 2 great places. You can reach out to me. It's so easy to DM there.
Love it, love it, love it. Thank you so much, my friend, for being here. Thank you for sharing all your goodness with all of our listeners and all of your great tips. I appreciate you so, so, so much.
Oh my gosh. You know what? When Barbara and I finally met in real life,
Oh my gosh.
it was like it's like you see people online and then all of a sudden you see them in real life.
Yeah, you're like, you're my people.
This is great. So I was so excited to be able to do this today. So thank you, Barb, so much.
Yes,
And
well,
I
thank you for
appreciate all
helping.
you do for our industry
You're very sweet.
and what you're doing with, you're so involved and I just admire you so
You're
much.
sweet. I love helping realtors. It's my jam. So if you guys enjoyed today's episode, please drop us a 5-star review. Make sure to hit the subscribe button so that you can hear when we publish our episodes. And again, I thank you all for your support. I hope you guys have a fantastic day and we will see you again soon. Bye, friends.